We're talking markets with Tommy Grisafi with Advanced Trading, ATI, ProMedia. Tommy, first of all, it's kind of a strange week with the holiday kind of stuck in there on Tuesday. Volume, I got to believe, has to be thin. It's been a bit of a wild ride this week.
Yeah, we're seeing volatility. We came back from 4th of July, and you saw that bean market explosion continue from the USDA. We're still reeling from that USDA report. Let's talk about that day real quick. Go back a little bit before we move forward. Soybeans were up 80 cents that day, and corn was down 30. Typically, people who trade that spread go home long 2 corn, short 1 bean, or vice versa. One of those 2x1s moved $7,000 to $8,000. If you were long 2 corn, you had a bad day that day. If you were short the bean, you had a bad day. Now, there are people who might have had that on the right way. And depending on what people planted, obviously, that corn number is... I believe the corn number is true. We'll see about the beans. It doesn't matter what Tom Grisafi or Don Wick believe to be true. The United States government, the USDA, put that number out there. They took it from surveys from the farmer. The farmer was supposed to tell the truth on it. Talk to your seed guy, seed gal. The large farmers I talked to and large seed companies I talked to said, yeah, we did sell a lot of corn seed. And yeah, it did feel like beans were down a little. They actually know. Heck, John Deere knows every kernel you planted, what field, and at what rate and everything else. So there's people out there. No, obviously it wasn't me, it wasn't you, it wasn't the market, because that had a big effect on things. So we're still coming back from that corn bean spread, Don, and that's had a big effect on what people are doing in the markets.
Big difference between the March prospective plantings report and what we saw here in that late June number. Are we seeing that corn soybean spread straighten out now?
Yeah, I mean, you take upon the filming of this, and we'll let this video go live here in a few minutes. Beans were down 20 upon recording this. Corn was on the highs, up 13. If you're long 2 corn, short a bean, you're having a better day. But big losses still from last week's move.
What about on the wheat side? There wasn't much in the report, but there's been a lot of activity. A lot of it, I'm guessing, weather, but also news out of Russia, Ukraine, those kind of things as well.
Yeah, Canadian weather market, I mean, they've been blasting us with smoke here for months, ruining our summer here in America. Thanks, Canada. You're seeing the oat market went up 25 cents 2 days in a row. Oats have moved 50 cents in the last 48 hours. That's odd. Now, they're not heavily traded. Monster day in wheat yesterday. At one point yesterday, Board of Trade wheat up 35, KC up over 50, Minneapolis over 50. Don, it just goes to show you how dynamic the wheat market is. And people who need to own upside need to do it. And then as we come into harvest here, especially up there, all across America, we're harvesting wheat. So these rallies, they tend to get sold. You're seeing some harvest pressure, some people selling off the combine. We'll start harvest here in the next 4 or 5 weeks up north, see how yields are. There's a lot of people running around saying yields are bad, yields are bad. Maybe they're right, but the demand's bad too. So figure it out. The market will figure it out. Thank God we have the Board of Trade to lay off some of that risk, or the Minneapolis Grain Exchange, or wherever you like to trade wheat. Thank God. When you like the price, you can sell it. And if you think wheat's too cheap, you're more than welcome to buy it. That's what makes markets a market.
What's the funds role been in this whole play?
Well, the funds been all over the place. They really blew up in corn in the sense that they were really heavily short. They blew up. Funds are heavily short Board of Trade wheat. You can see when the wheat market rallies that these funds actually start to cover. I think as you look at the numbers later in the week, you'll see that the funds took off some more of their shorts here in wheat. At least it feels like that. The funds are big and have a lot of money. When the funds buy a crop like corn, everyone's like, oh, the funds are great. And then when corn sells off and they say the funds went from long to short, everyone thinks the funds should be outlawed. You got to understand, folks, when the funds are buying, you want to be a seller and a protector of that market. I love selling and protecting when the funds are hitting long or record long, because they always get out of it. And when they get out of it, you need to be a seller, the American farmer, and they're trying to sell. And there's just too much money hitting too few bids. They say in markets we take the stairs going up and the elevator or the escalator coming down.
Kind of that same token on Wall Street. We had a big month of June, kind of backed off here a bit.
Yeah, the stock market monster month of June. And you look at one point today, the Dow was down over 500. Sounds like a big number. When you look in percents, if I told you the Dow Jones is down 1.5%, you wouldn't be all freaked out. If I told you the Dow Jones down 500, you're like, yeah, that's what it crashed in 87. Well, in 87, when the stock market crashed, it was trading at 2,500 and closed the day at 2,000. We're trading at 33, 34,000, a high number. To break 500 is just normal. It's healthy. And you're seeing corrections in other markets too. It's healthy to correct. It's nice to see rallies when you're long, but anything that goes straight up needs to correct and come down, Don.
It's been interesting for me to follow what's going on in this cattle and the hog market. We saw the hog trade it was ugly for a long, long time, and then now it's turned around and really gone the other direction. Cattle's gone south in that whole play.
Yeah, the hog market monster rally, especially in that August contract, as much as $25 off the low. Now, there was a time when I had told people that just how could you go to the store and buy beef when pork's so cheap? You may say you didn't like pork or something, but from a value for feeding a family, pork was definitely the bargain there for about 6 weeks, and that tied into Prop 12. Prop 12 is not going to go away. There are a select few hundred people in America and the world telling us how to raise our animals and telling the whole rest of the world what standard you should live by when it comes to eating. So if you're out there and you're in agriculture, animal agriculture, just regular agriculture, you got to get vocal, folks. You got to start defending yourself because they're coming at you from all angles. And Prop 12 threw a bomb in that pork industry. Now, in the end, it's coming out of it okay, but there's a lot of bankruptcies and a lot of financial stress in the pork industry, Don.
Yeah, no doubt. It's pretty tough right now. Dairy industry, same kind of story. They're fighting it as well. You talked about harvest earlier. Obviously, we're bringing in this winter wheat crop. We're going to be moving into spring wheat in no time. When we start looking at harvest, what kind of things should growers have top of mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. We need to have a plan for bushels we can't store. You spend most of your time thinking you're not growing a crop, and then you go harvest a crop and say, I didn't have enough room to store it. You got to watch that cash market. You don't want to sell all that crop and just be shocked that you didn't have a home for it. Have a plan, reward these rallies, set some floors with puts. But in the end, you're not going to be able to protect your way back to prosperity. You're going to need some cash sales, and you're going to need a place to put these bushels. A lot of people saying yields are going to be down on a lot of things. That's fine. Maybe they will be, but demand's down too. So the worst thing that could happen to a farmer right now is to just have an okay yield and just have an okay price. That's not going to work out. We're going to want the bushels. As you know, I always say we're in the bushel business. I'm not going to help anyone by running around saying nobody's growing anything as it's 67 degrees and rainy here in the Midwest. I got a good feeling we're getting a little closer to growing things than we are to destroying things this week, Don.
Yeah, no doubt. Tell me, Tommy, how can folks get in touch with you if they have any questions or want to do some
We'd love to
business?
work with people. Of course, advanced trading clients, we thank you for your business. If people are interested in text alerts, more audio, video messages like this, get a hold of us, 1-800-664-4383. I'll have my phone number and a link to who I am and who we are down at the bottom of this video.
All right. Again, Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, ATI ProMedia. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate the update.
Thanks, Don.